Hello and welcome to the season 2 of the Working While Homeschooling podcast, the podcast for workingwhilehomeschooling.com, where our mission is to help homeschooling parents make money, maybe even have a career, while continuing to homeschool and without losing their sanity. My name is Julie. I am your host and your resident career coach today. I want to thank you all for listening in and joining us. I hope you're doing well. Today's episode, we're going to talk about our new blog hop that's happening on our site. So I want to direct everyone who's listening to that. You can find it at workingwhilehomeschooling.com/homeschool-success-hacks. So it's workingwhilehomeschooling.com, then and you put homeschool-success hacks. So hopefully if this goes well and this is successful, we'll have a series and we'll do different themes for each blog hop. This blog hop is our Back to Homeschool blog hop, and we have 10 to 11 bloggers that have joined us for this very first one, so it's going to be kind of fun. Each day is a different theme of post happening. So Monday through Saturday, we'll have posts happening all over, and they'll all be registered and linked up back to our site here, the Homeschool Success Hacks landing page on my website. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to check it out. So just to go over today we have, for Monday, we have the curriculum theme. We're just talking on Monday, we're talking about, various topics on curriculum, and we've left it open-ended so each blogger can kind of style it to their own audience, but also so we can get a really eclectic kind of voice and different thoughts here. So Monday is all about homeschool curriculum. Tuesday is all about the quote-unquote homeschool classroom. Wednesday, we're talking about planning and scheduling. I think that's going to be a very interesting day. Thursday is Blogger's Choice. We have it wide open-ended for anybody who would like to post, whatever they would like to post about. Friday is Homeschool Mom Tips. So for any of you homeschool moms out there, that's the day that we've left it open-ended for all of our bloggers to give you their best tips and advice. Saturday, for kind of covering the weekend, we'll be talking about the back-to-school celebrations or back-to-school traditions. So we have some really fantastic articles that are kind of already been scheduled that I've seen come up, and it looks like a lot of fun. Now, if you're a homeschool blogger out there, I would love to have you join us for the next one. I don't know when it is or what it's going to be talking about, but I would love to have you join us. If you're interested, email me at julie@workingwhilehomeschooling.com so I can get you on that list for the next time we set these up. So I wanted to kind of just go over homeschool curriculum today. I know we talked about and previously how to choose your homeschool curriculum, and so I'm not going to go into that a whole lot. I did want to point out a couple of resources that are on our website, just so you see that. So if you go under homeschool resources on our website, that's under the recommended resources tab, and then you just kind of pull down and click homeschool resources. There are some reviews and podcasts with some of our affiliate programs. It also has a listing of some of our affiliates, so you can check them out, the various affiliate companies that I'm with. If you want to use those links, I would appreciate it, because your support does help me keep active and does help me continue to produce podcasts and continue to produce the website and that sort of thing. And then, of course, below that is a listing of pretty much every single homeschool curriculum that a working homeschooling parent has ever mentioned to me that they use. And so whenever I'm speaking to someone or kind of talking to them before the podcast, that sort of thing, I'll ask them, all right, what homeschool curriculum do you use as a working while homeschooling parent? And then I honestly take notes. And that's where this list has kind of evolved from, is just taking notes. So if you're a working homeschooling parent out there and you're like, okay, what in the world do I use? How in the world do I do this? Please go take a look at that listing and those lists. Those are the same things that other working homeschooling parents might be using. And so maybe that will help you kind of narrow down some choices and get started. So since today's topic is curriculum, I wanted to kind of very briefly go over that. There is a post on the website today to go along with the blog hop about the curriculum that we're using this year. And I kind of just wanted to review that and give everybody my 2 cents. First of all, we do use teaching textbooks. I'm a big fan. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And teaching textbooks just works for us. So I'm not going to mess with it. We're currently in pre-algebra and math 7, which would kind of be, I guess, 7th grade math and pre-algebra, or however you like to define that. My 6th grader is doing math 7. My 8th grader is using the pre-algebra text right now. And I just like them. Now, if you guys know teaching textbooks, you know that they've come out with this online, like you log in on a website and do it version. It's the exact same thing. But it's just online unloginable. Those are never my favorite, to be honest. I use them because I have to. But I will say that one of my big things about online programs is, frankly, how good your internet is. And that always drives me bonkers. So because we're currently having to live overseas, thanks to God, we are in a country that has excellent internet, but I'm never guaranteed that. The other thing is when you purchase the online access, and it is cheaper, however, there's only one per kid. So I do like purchasing the full CD-ROM disc because I can take that through 2 kids. It ends up being about the same average-wise, to be honest. It's not like a major cost savings, except that, well, I already had Math 7, so I'm not going to purchase that to be online. So we still use the quote-unquote version 2, not the version 3, the CD-ROMs. I just like it better. That's just me. But, you know, I'm kind of old school, that method. Now, as far as the vocab, so I have made my kids do spelling through 6th grade, and then starting in 7th, and for my youngest, I made her do it through 5th because, frankly, she was doing so well. She was just bored, so I gave up. So we're starting that in vocabulary now, and I'm not using a fancy like learn from that Latin vocabulary program. Frankly, I'm just not interested. So why would I expect them to be? Even though I know there's some really great programs out there, I'm not using that. My whole goal with this vocabulary is to beef up their vocabulary to use in everyday language, but also the silly SAT and ACT testing, and that's it. That's why I had to take vocabulary. At least that's what my mom always said. This is why they make you do this in public school. So that's really why I'm doing it, is because they need to make really good test scores on those 2 tests, and they honestly don't test super well. Maybe that's a homeschooling issue, but we don't test super great. And so we're going to practice that vocabulary over and over and over until we master it. Now, what I'm using is I'm using these books called Vocabulary Cartoons. You can find them on their website, vocabularycartoons.com. It's a book where there's basically a little word picture, and it's created an actual cartoon picture to help you remember the word. And one of the big things that happened for us last year is we realized that our kids are not audio learners and verbal learners like I thought they were. Because they were so, let's say, verbal as small children, I just assumed they were very verbal learners because they never stopped talking. Hello, they get that from me. And while I'm an extremely verbal learner myself, they were almost like 100% visual, which has been a massive, massive kind of learning to teach them adjustment for me. I just don't get it. I'm probably 0% visual, or very, very little. So they need pictures. So the vocabulary cartoons has just been, frankly, the easiest way for me to do that. I'm also using a brand new program this year called Vocab One. You can Google that. It's vocab1.com, I believe. And basically this is, you can create your own word list in here or use theirs, which I might have to do next year. But you can use their list, and then that, it kind of has like the word games, hangman and, all those kind of silly word games, and like put words in sentences and things like that to help them practice using the word. And really make sure that word practice and that individual vocabulary word is built into their brains. And we really, when they were younger, I used Spelling City, very similar version, but it was just all spelling games. And they've just completely grown out of Spelling City. It really is, I think, good for up to maybe 5th grade math, maybe, just age appropriate wise. So Vocab 1 is an adult actual program. If you're an adult and you want to work on your own vocab, you could use that. And they adore it because they think, oh, grown-ups use this, so they feel cool. And it's worked. We're probably in our 3rd or 4th week of using it. It works really well. It only required me basically to go put in my own vocabulary list and create my own unit lessons for each of them, which took me a day or two, but that was it. As far as writing goes this year, writing is kind of, frankly, a mess, to be honest, because we have tried so many different writing programs out there. And of course, you're going to hear the people who just frankly proselytize, oh, use this, oh, use that. Anything that's kind of where you have to drink the Kool-Aid method, those never work for us. And frankly, anything where people frankly just start proselytizing it as far as, oh, this is the only way to teach writing, makes me kind of want to personally gag. And there are a lot of those out there, especially in the homeschooling world. So those just don't work. And they don't work for us. Let me make sure I'm phrasing that correctly. I'm not a drink the Kool-Aid kind of girl. And that always is kind of a huge buyer beware frightening moment for me. If people are just, oh, this is the only way to teach this, or oh, for this kind of learner, this is the only way you can do it. Because frankly, I followed that advice with my oldest is in 8th grade now. I've been following that advice since 2nd or 3rd grade with her, and well, none of them work. So what we have discovered is she needs like super old school method, like the way that my parents were taught back in the 50s of how to write. She needs it that clear. So anything that's too visual or too proofread is not working for her. So what we're using for her is a program called timeforwriting.com. I honestly think it's pretty new. It's been done by the same company as Time for Learning. And so basically it's an online program. You do a little lesson, you submit an assignment, and then there are certified teachers who grade it and send you feedback, which is great for the preteen stage, frankly, who does not want to listen to mom, or mom is dumb and mom doesn't know what she's talking about, or doesn't want to listen to mom anymore. So it's great for that. Also, it's something that I can trust, and I have found, I honestly don't know what it is, but there's so little visual clutter when they're looking at the online program, or maybe it's just the way they lay it out. It's just so obvious the way they teach it that it makes writing logical, and it makes it kind of super obvious. And we're in probably week 3 or week 4 of this. Week 3 of this. It's the only thing that is working for her brain. And she's finally actually personally motivated to learn how to write, because she always thinks, wait, writing a complete sentence is a waste of time. So if the answer is no, why should I put no because and then put a complete sentence? The answer is no. Just write no. And so this is just something she and I have fought since the beginning of time. But this is just very logically laying out and making it make sense, and it's working for her brain. So if you have one of those kids whose brains are kind of all over the place and they don't think in a very kind of, let's say, linear fashion, this might be something you want to look at. It's working for us so far. One of the other things I do like about this program is it's broken down into 8-week segments. So they focus on one thing specifically for 8 weeks. And so once you master that, then you move to the next session for 8 weeks. And then you master that and you move to the next session. So the great thing about this is you're not dealing with an entire year's worth of curriculum, okay? So if your kid is getting stuck on a specific thing, like you just want to work paragraphs, then you just go take the 8-week paragraph session. Or if you're noticing they're having difficulty with the grammar or punctuation, well, there's an 8-week session where it's grammar and punctuation, and so on and so on. So you can hone in on right on what their issue is. So I hate to say remedial because I really don't think it's remedial, except for if your child is having some difficulties, this just makes everything super clear. I'm a huge fan. I am not an affiliate of the program. If there was an affiliate program for this, I totally would do it, but there's not that I've been able to find. We are using schoolhouseteachers.com for the first time this year, and I am affiliate of that. You'll see the links on my site. We're doing 2 courses right now. My youngest is doing their creative writing course, which she loves. The marine mycology course, she likes but doesn't love. Frankly, it's not intensive enough for her. So I would say, kind of average 6th grade, 5th grade, easy program for them. She just thought it wasn't enough. And I was like, okay, but she is finishing the work far too fast. So I've added in a marine biology class from greatcourses.com that you can check out as well. So greatcourses.com is basically, honestly, video lectures that you can just sit there and listen to or watch. And they're usually done by like high-level college professors or the best experts in whatever topic. And to her, that finally kind of mixing the two gave it enough beefiness for what she was looking for. So she, that kind of gave her the depth and the kind of depth of knowledge that I think she thought she was going to get. So as long as she's happy, I'm happy. Now, one thing I am trying is I purchased this little workbook off Amazon for a middle school level NaNoWriMo, like the novel writing and a 1-month thing that they do in November. So there's actually a workbook for National Novel Writing Month. And so there's a middle school version of that, and we're not going to do it in 1 month because I think that's crazy. So we're just going to split it up and do 2 to 3 days a week. So she can do 2 to 3 assignments a week and spread it out over her whole year because she is the writer in the family. I mean, the child writes all the time, and she's good. She's really good. We're also using Apology of Science for my oldest. She's doing General Science this year. Their newest version of the General Science, version 3. Worth the money, guys. I had already purchased the version 2, and when I saw the version 3 come out, it's just so much better. So I even went and bought the videos. They'll give them to you on a thumb drive, but they have videos that you can watch, and the lessons go right along with the lessons in the book. And I bought the experiment kit where you can purchase all the stuff that's been put in individual baggies, the label. This goes to lesson 2 and unit 2, and fantastic. So that is working out really well for my oldest. And then we're using Veritas Press for our kind of main core curriculum. So that's covering literature, theology, or Bible history, if you want to call it that, and also just regular history. So it's kind of like all kind of combined. My oldest is doing the Omnibus 2 self-paced online, and that is a video-based program that you have to log into. So you're going to want good internet for that, but it is an extremely good program. Let's see, the cons. You can read online. There are some people that just don't like Veritas Press for whatever reason. I have not come across things that it was not enough for me to not purchase the program. Let me say that. I will say that there, it is a Latin-based, that classical education type program. So if your child's brain has difficulty answering those kind of questions, the do-it-yourself self-paced, well, they don't let you go back and edit scores or retake tests like you can do with teaching textbooks. So if you flunk that test, well, you flunked the test, and that's it. I've spoken to them about this, and they have done this for a very, very specific reason, because, because they use, they have an online academy, and also they also have an accreditation process, so you can get a quote-unquote accredited graduation certificate. So if their thoughts are you shouldn't be able to retake a test, or you shouldn't be able to edit your answers, your test should be your test. I don't agree with them on that. However, I do know such is life. And so since we started in the 7th grade, honestly, been working on how to test take and how to read these questions to figure out what they really mean so you can figure out the real answer, and study skills, and make sure you're taking good notes, and all those kinds of things. So she's in 8th grade this year. Still kind of threaten her about that. When she wants to rush through and kind of just halfway do it, well, I can instantly tell on her test scores. So we talk about that constantly. So if this is a concern for you guys, you might not want the online omnibus self-paced online. You might want to you teach it, where you teach it to them directly out of the books yourself. Or maybe you do it online with a teacher, because they do have live courses. We can't do the live courses because of the time zone issue we have. So I will say that's kind of my biggest irritation with the omnibus too. Now, omnibus in general, but that is pretty much my only irritation with that. They are hardcore. They're reading hardcore books this year that is very intensive. I mean, they're reading Beowulf in 8th grade, and well, my youngest is doing that right now in 6th grade. They're reading Tolkien, they are reading Shakespeare, and they're reading Dante's Inferno, and I mean, 8th grade guys. I mean, like, I was reading this stuff my senior year of high school and in college and things, but they're looking at this and they're studying it early. So I do love it's a very intensive course. It is it really makes them think, and it's just exposes them to a lot of true classic adult literature, to be honest. So that I really like. Now my youngest, we're having to do the self-paced, not the self-paced, the you teach, which is really the mom teaches, okay? The you teach, I think, is a kind of that's what they call it on the website, but I think that's very confusing. So the you teach is really mom teaches it, just like any normal homeschool program, versus their online classes, which they call self-paced, which is just confusing. So because frankly, the self-paced, she said, was cheesy, but I love the list of books that they're covering. So, I'm doing the Mom Teaches program with her. And so we're covering, for both of them, I set it up so we're both covering the same time period. We're covering medieval history to the Renaissance, or to Reformation, so, and so, oh my goodness, we're gonna have so much fun with this. It's pretty intensive. I will say for the younger crowd, so my youngest is in 6th grade, we are not doing the omnibus program. For the Mom Teaches program, I honestly wouldn't recommend this to a beginner homeschooler, because the lesson plans are not written coherently. I mean, now I've made it work, and I've kind of gone through and decided what I want to do, but it's not, their scripts are confusing, and it's not written out in a logical fashion. And the books, the teacher's manual, which you think is a teacher's manual, actually is just a bound book of all the page worksheets and things that they're going to need to do. And so, of course, they put different workbook pages on the front and back of each thing. So you have to sit there and manually, I mean, even if I didn't care if she used up every single page, if I wasn't planning to resell it or gift it or reuse it again, you would have to sit there and manually copy each individual thing. And it's a big fat book, and you have to kind of sit there and do each page individually. It's a pain. That is what slowed my prep down this year exponentially, because I did not expect that from such an excellent program. And they'll tell you, go do, okay, over here, this page of this and this page of this, but it's made for someone who already knows their curriculum and frankly knows what they're doing. So since I kind of came to this Veritas Press backwards, even if this is my 8th or 9th year homeschooling, I'm going to tell you it was not the easiest thing to figure out. And I was emailing customer service on Facebook and things like that, asking them what in the world was this worksheet. And you just hand me this worksheet, but you don't tell me what's supposed to go in the blanks. What is this for? And so that being said, if you like the classical curriculum, if you like that stuff, it's a very good program, but their teacher instructions or the mom instructions incoherent. So plan extra time when you're doing your prep to frankly either highlight it for yourself. I had to go through each individual day and figure out what was not cheesy, frankly, what wasn't super cheesy and what we were actually going to cover versus just going off their directions. Now, one of the things they've done in their quote unquote teacher book lesson plans, it was a PDF that I had to download, 300 pages. It was ridiculous. For those of you who have multiple ages, they actually put ages 1 through 3 and 4 through 6 all in the same teacher lesson plan books. I've seen other programs do it and do it so much more coherently. That's all. So my recommendation to Veritas Press, I love you guys, but you need to rewrite your teacher lesson plans so that every single day follows the exact same format and it's logical for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't know what you're talking about, because that was my big deal. Other than that, I love you guys. Other than that. So we're also using Take Time for Art. You guys know I've talked to Miss Penny on the podcast before. She has a medieval art kit now. I just went and purchased it. I didn't even look at it. I don't even care. I love Miss Penny. It's a medieval art kit. Everything's in the art kit. It's done for me. I love that. So that's what we're using this year. So you'll see that in the articles today. We're all talking about all the various things we're using. And just how we lay it out and that sort of thing. And so the rest of this week, what are we covering in our in my post specifically? I'm going to be covering, well, I've got one day scheduled already on Thursday. It's all about including dad in your homeschool process. So us working while homeschooling moms, for those of you that have a second parent in the house, you know what? Divide and conquer is a very viable method of parenting sometimes. And you know what? Dads can do a lot. And I think sometimes they don't because they don't feel like they can. Or they don't feel included, or they weren't asked. And my husband and I have discussed that quite a bit. So I just gave you a whole bunch of tips and ideas of how we've tried to include dad, or how dad has kind of decided to basically volunteer and take over certain things. So that helps. And so what we're talking about, including dad in lesson planning. I'm going to show you some kind of it's going to be kind of more pictorial, but just kind of how we laid out our day in various different years. Because again, I've been doing this for going on 9 years now. And so we've changed what our school day looks like pretty much every year, even if it's just small changes. So I'm going to show you guys that and break it down. And we're also going to be covering the classroom. Tomorrow I've got some great pictures about how we've laid it out in our house. And again, you guys know we move every 2 to 3 years. So we've had to readapt our homeschool classroom, not just as my kids age, but also for every single different kind of house. And well, we've lived in every single different kind of house now, except for an RV. Who knows when that may be next, who knows? But we've lived in apartments, we've lived in townhouses, we've lived in huge 5-bedroom houses trying to homeschool, and we're in an apartment now. We've had crazy different layouts, and so I just wanted to show you kind of various things we've tried, including homeschool being in a walk-in closet. So definitely take a look tomorrow for those pictures. And for some of the articles that are coming out today from other bloggers that are involved in the Blog Hop, we have a recipe for selecting the best curriculum for your child, how to organize your student and how to teach them how to organize themselves, practical nature studies, word schooling with preschool, that is world schooling. I just spelled that wrong. World schooling with in the South America with preschools and toddlers, teaching poetry, assigning credit or life experience to your homeschool. Just some really interesting articles, guys. So I hope you guys really do check that out. This week, every day, again, is a new theme. So today we have, you're going to find that at workingwhilehomeschooling.com/homeschool-success-hacks. I know that sounds weird to say, but it looks more easy. It looks easier than it is to say it. The link will be in the show notes today. So I hope that is working for you guys. What else is coming up for homeschool? Working while homeschooling. Well, we have so much coming up in the burner. As you guys know, everything starts going nuts by September, right? Well, next week is September. Can you believe it? So the blog hop is happening all this week, and we're just going to be going crazy nuts with blog hop this week. Next month, we have the Work and Homeschool Summit. So yes, I have 2 different sessions coming into another online summit. I think you guys are really going to like that. So it's the Ultimate Blogging and Work from Home Summit. And so I have 2 different sessions for that. Teachable, for those of you that like and use Teachable, or if you've been considering adding classes online to make some money, Teachable is going to be having their online conference coming up later in September. I think it starts September 24th. I absolutely highly recommend, if you have ever considered it or interested in it, that you sign up for that. So as we wrap up our episode today, I want to thank you all for listening in. There are a ton of great podcasts out there, but you chose to spend your time here with us, so thank you. Please be sure to check out the show notes to link to my site and also to the blog hop. You'll find my site at workingwhilehomeschooling.com, plus all of the great ways that you can reach out to me online. We appreciate our listener supporters, so if you've enjoyed today's podcast, you too can support us with a small monthly donation that helps us continue with great content and interviews that you've been hearing on our podcast. Just check out our show notes and you'll get the link there. We also appreciate your online reviews, all of you that have been subscribing to our podcast, and thank you to all of you that have been sharing it with your homeschooling friends. If you know someone, again, that you think would be a great guest on our podcast, please let me know at julie@workingwhilehomeschooling.com. Thank you for listening today. Thank you to everyone who has been checking it out. Please share this information with your friends through whatever media you would like to do that with. And please make sure you're joining us in our Facebook group if you have not done that already for a continuing conversation on today's topic and beyond. I look forward to seeing each one of you soon at our next podcast for Working While Homeschooling.